My name is Alex, and I used to work the graveyard shift at a Walmart located in a small town called Willow Creek in Montana. Working nights had its challenges, but it was a necessity for me to make ends meet. I never believed in ghosts or the supernatural. I thought they were just stories meant to scare kids around campfires. That all changed one fateful night, during the quiet hours when the store was empty, and the darkness seemed to stretch out forever. It was a chilly night in December, and the town was experiencing an unusually heavy snowfall. As I trudged through the snow towards the Walmart, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. My coworker, Mike, greeted me with a smirk as he handed over the keys to the store. "You're in for a treat tonight, Alex. The place is eerily quiet, and I swear I heard strange noises coming from the storage area yesterday," Mike said, half-jokingly. I chuckled, dismissing his words as typical graveyard shift banter. Little did I know that soon would experience something that would make me question my skepticism. As the hours passed, I kept myself busy restocking shelves and organizing merchandise. The store was practically deserted, with only the occasional distant rumble of a snowplow breaking the silence. I noticed that one section of the store was darker than the rest due to a flickering light. Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to investigate. As I approached the dimly lit area, a feeling of dread washed over me. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something seemed off. And then, I saw it, a silhouette unlike anything I had ever seen before. It was tall, impossibly so, with elongated limbs that seemed to stretch out infinitely. Its head was elongated and disproportionate to its body. The thing stood there, barely moving, watching me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. I couldn't tear my eyes away from the bizarre silhouette. Fear paralyzed me as I stood there, trying to comprehend what I was witnessing. I wanted to scream, to run, but my legs felt like lead, rooted to the spot. Suddenly, the silhouette twitched, and a low, guttural growl filled the air. I could feel a wave of malevolence emanating from the creature, and it sent me into a panic. I turned and bolted towards the employee break room, my heart pounding in my chest. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, but when I looked at the screen, there was no signal. Panic turned into terror as I realized I was trapped inside the store with this enigmatic, malevolent presence. Hoping to escape, I tried to make my way to the store's entrance, but the creature seemed to anticipate my every move. It moved with uncanny speed, always just a few steps ahead of me, like it was toying with me. I knew I had to find another way out. Desperation pushed me to remember the store layout, and I recalled an emergency exit near the employee locker area. It was my only chance. As I approached the door, my heart sank. The exit was locked, and my employee badge didn't have the clearance to open it. I was trapped, and the creature was closing in on me. With no other options, I ran to the store's security room, hoping to find some answers or assistance. I pulled up the security footage and saw the chilling silhouette moving through the store with unnatural grace. It seemed to glide across the floor, making no sound. Suddenly, the power flickered, and the security monitors went dark. Panic surged through me, and I stumbled backward, only to find myself face to face with the silhouette. Frozen in fear, I stared at the creature as it towered over me. Its elongated face contorted into a grotesque smile, revealing rows of sharp, jagged teeth. I tried to scream, but no sound escaped my lips. Then, without warning, the creature reached out and touched my forehead with its unnaturally long fingers. Images flashed through my mind, scenes of violence, destruction, and death. The creature was feeding on my fear, reveling in the terror it evoked. In that moment, something within me snapped. I refused to be its prey any longer. Summoning every ounce of courage, I pushed back against the creature's influence. With a scream of defiance, I lunged forward, knocking the creature off balance. I ran for my life, not looking back until I reached the main entrance. The creature pursued me relentlessly, its malevolent laughter echoing through the store. Somehow, I managed to reach the front doors and burst out into the frigid night air. But the terror didn't end there. I knew I had to find a way to escape this sinister entity for good. Over the next few weeks, I delved deeper into research, trying to uncover the creature's origin and weaknesses. I discovered old folklore from Native American tribes in the region, describing similar entities that were known as fear weavers, malevolent beings that fed off human fear and despair. These creatures were said to be attracted to places of immense negative energy, like haunted locations or sites of great tragedy. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I sought the help of a local historian who knew about the town's hidden history. Through old newspapers and records, I discovered that the Walmart had been built on the site of a tragic event, a deadly fire that claimed multiple lives many years ago. The historian believed that the entity had been drawn to the negative energy lingering at the Walmart, and it was using my fear to sustain itself. He advised me to confront the creature, not with aggression, but with compassion and understanding. One night, armed with this knowledge and courage, I returned to the Walmart. I found the silhouette waiting for me in the same dimly lit area. But this time, I spoke to it, not with words of fear, but with empathy. I told the entity about the tragic event that had occurred here and how it was time to let go of the pain and move on. I offered my understanding and wished for it to find peace. To my astonishment, the silhouette started to fade, its malevolence diminishing. It was as if my words had reached its tormented soul. Slowly, the creature disappeared into the darkness, leaving behind a sense of sadness and relief. Since that night, the Walmart felt different, no longer plagued by the oppressive presence. My encounter with the enigmatic silhouette taught me that sometimes, fear and malevolence are born from unresolved pain and tragedy. Compassion and understanding can be powerful tools to dispel darkness and bring peace. I left my job at Walmart, not out of fear, but to pursue a new chapter in my life. The experience had changed me, opening my eyes to the unknown and the unseen forces that can lurk within the ordinary. I carry this knowledge with me, reminding myself that not everything in this world can be explained by logic alone. And as I move forward, I remain vigilant, always mindful of the mysterious and the unexplained that might cross my path once again. My name is Alex, and I'm what you'd call a professional thief. My skills have taken me across state lines, from the bustling streets of New York City to the desolate towns of Arizona. However, the heist I'm about to recount remains etched in my memory as the most chilling and gripping experience of my life. It all started when I heard rumors of a legendary artifact hidden deep within a Walmart store in the small town of El Dorado, Texas. The artifact was said to have mysterious powers, and its value was beyond imagination. I couldn't resist the temptation, and I began to meticulously plan the heist. El Dorado, a quiet town nestled in the heart of Texas, was the perfect location for my operation. I gathered information about the store's security measures, the employees' routines, and the surrounding area. After weeks of preparation, I finally felt ready. The night was dark and moonless as I approached the Walmart store. My heart pounded in my chest, but I brushed aside any doubts. This was what I did, and I was good at it. I slipped through the shadows, avoiding the security cameras and any potential witnesses. I finally found a weak point in the back entrance, and with my tools, I quietly disabled the lock. As I entered the store, a cold shiver ran down my spine, but I convinced myself it was just the adrenaline. Inside the store, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The place seemed eerily silent, devoid of the usual bustling noise one would expect from a Walmart. I continued with caution, making my way towards the aisle where the artifact was rumored to be hidden. That's when I saw them, the workers. They appeared otherworldly, their eyes reflecting an unnatural gleam. Their movements were robotic and lacked any human grace, but what shocked me the most was their incredible speed, endurance, and strength. It was as if they were not bound by the limitations of the human body. I stayed hidden, watching them closely. They seemed to blend into the surroundings, moving like shadows in the night. I tried to rationalize it, thinking maybe they were just highly trained security guards, but something in their eyes told a different story. As I crept closer to my target, a wave of panic washed over me. One of the workers turned, locking eyes with me. I quickly ducked behind a shelf, but my heart pounded so loud I was sure they could hear it. I held my breath, praying they hadn't seen me. But when I peered around the corner, I witnessed something that chilled me to my core. The workers began to move towards each other, their bodies shifting and merging into one colossal being. The sight was beyond comprehension, and I couldn't fathom what I was witnessing. Their collective form was massive, towering over the shelves like a nightmarish creature. Its eyes glowed with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. I knew I had to get out of there, but fear rooted me to the spot. With a guttural growl, the merged being lunged towards me. Adrenaline coursed through my veins, and I sprinted away, barely escaping its grasp. The thing was fast, much faster than any human should be, and its determination to catch me was relentless. I weaved through the aisles, knocking over displays in a desperate attempt to slow it down. But the being seemed unaffected, its colossal form crashing through obstacles with ease. The Walmart had turned into a nightmarish labyrinth, and I was the prey. In the midst of the chaos, I stumbled upon the artifact I had come for. It was a small, unassuming box, but its energy pulsed with an eerie glow. I knew I had to take it, even if it meant risking my life. As I gripped the artifact in my hands, a surge of power surged through me. I felt a connection to it, a resonance that defied explanation. I hoped it would be my salvation, a means to escape the monstrous being that pursued me. I continued to evade the being, but it was relentless in its pursuit. I couldn't shake it off. Finally, I reached the front entrance and sprinted towards the doors. I pushed them open, hoping the night air would grant me freedom. But as I stepped outside, the merged being blocked my path, its massive form filling the entire doorway. I was trapped, and there was no way around it. Summoning every ounce of courage, I raised the artifact and channeled its power. To my astonishment, the being hesitated, its glow flickering slightly. Encouraged, I channeled more energy into the artifact, and it started to respond. With a final surge of power, the artifact unleashed a burst of energy that enveloped the merged being. It shrieked in agony as its form began to unravel, the workers splitting back into separate entities. They writhed in pain, unable to reform. Seizing the opportunity, I dashed past the disoriented workers and ran into the night, not looking back. The artifact had saved me, but at what cost? I couldn't shake the feeling that I had tampered with forces beyond my understanding. I left El Dorado, Texas, and never looked back. The artifact remained with me, a constant reminder of the horrors I had witnessed that night. I stopped stealing, haunted by the knowledge that there were things in this world far more mysterious and dangerous than I had ever imagined. I learned to live with the fear, the memory of those unnerving workers and the merged being etched into my mind. It was a chilling experience that changed me forever, reminding me that some secrets are better left untouched. The empty aisles of the abandoned Walmart stretched out before me, bathed in an eerie glow from the flickering lights above. My heart pounded in my chest as I cautiously made my way through the store, the silence broken only by the echoing sound of my footsteps. I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. As I picked up a few items I needed, a sudden chill ran down my spine. I turned around, expecting to see another shopper, but the store was still deserted. Unease settled in as I hurriedly headed for the exit. The automatic doors refused to budge, trapping me inside. Panic surged through me, and I pounded on the doors, desperate to escape. With no other option, I searched for an alternative exit and stumbled upon a fire door. As I stepped out, I found myself in a nightmarish realm. The sky above was a swirling mass of shadows, and the surroundings were a warped and distorted version of the familiar town of Pleasantville. Fear gripped me, but I knew I had to keep moving. The monstrous entity that loomed in the sky was now more apparent, its twisted form casting a long shadow over the landscape. I felt its malevolent presence, as if it was watching my every move. Days turned into nights as I struggled to survive in this surreal dimension. The items I had purchased from the Walmart became my makeshift arsenal: a baseball bat, a utility knife, and a flashlight. I scavenged for food and water, but everything I found seemed stale and tasteless, as if it came from another time. One night, as I crouched in the shadows, I saw the creature descend from the sky. Its massive form seemed to blot out the stars, and its eyes glowed with an unholy light. My heart pounded in my chest as I tried to remain unseen, but the creature's gaze swept over the landscape, searching. Suddenly, the ground shook beneath me, and I realized the monster had detected my presence. Its piercing eyes locked onto me, and I knew I had to run. I sprinted through the distorted streets, the creature's thunderous footsteps echoing behind me. With every step, the world seemed to shift around me, making escape almost impossible. The monster's inhuman roars filled the air, and I could feel its breath on the back of my neck. I pushed myself to the limit, fueled by adrenaline and fear, desperately trying to find a way out of this nightmare. I reached a dead-end alley, and my heart sank. There was no escape. The monster closed in, its massive clawed hand reaching for me. In a last-ditch effort, I swung my baseball bat, hitting the creature's hand with all my strength. The blow seemed to startle it, and it pulled back momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, I scrambled up a nearby fire escape, my heart pounding in my ears. The creature let out a guttural roar, its eyes ablaze with fury. I climbed higher and higher, praying that this escape route would lead me to safety. But the creature wasn't going to let me get away so easily. It scaled the building with unnatural speed, its elongated limbs giving it an otherworldly advantage. I reached the rooftop, gasping for breath, as the creature loomed above me. With no time to rest, I darted across the rooftop, looking for anything that could help me fight back. My eyes fell on a metal pipe lying nearby, and I grabbed it, determined to defend myself. The monster lunged at me, and I swung the pipe with all my might, striking its arm. The impact sent searing pain through my hand, but it was nothing compared to the creature's furious retaliation. It swiped at me with its claws, and I barely managed to dodge the attack. The rooftop shook with the force of its blows, and I knew I couldn't keep this up for long. With a surge of desperation, I swung the pipe again, this time aiming for its head. The blow connected, and the creature let out an otherworldly screech, staggering backward. It seemed momentarily disoriented, and I seized the chance to escape. I ran to the edge of the rooftop and leaped to the adjacent building, narrowly avoiding the creature's grasp. The monster's roars echoed through the night as I continued to navigate the twisted cityscape, always one step ahead of the creature's pursuit. Days turned into weeks as this nightmarish struggle persisted. Each encounter with the creature left me battered and bruised, my body pushed to its limits. I had come close to death more times than I could count, but the will to survive pushed me forward. As my strength waned, I stumbled upon an old abandoned church. Inside, I discovered a journal left behind by a previous unfortunate soul who had faced the same horrors. The journal spoke of a ritual that could banish the creature back to the void. Gathering my last ounce of strength, I prepared for the ritual. The night sky above me swirled with darkness as I chanted the ancient incantations. The ground shook, and the creature descended from the sky, drawn by the arcane energy. As the ritual reached its climax, I saw a glimmer of hope in the creature's eyes. It seemed to sense its imminent defeat and fought back with renewed ferocity. But I persevered, pouring all my energy into the ritual. With a blinding flash, the creature let out a final, desperate cry before being engulfed by darkness. It vanished, leaving me alone in the distorted landscape. The ground beneath me trembled one last time before returning to normal. Exhausted and battered, I found myself back in the Walmart supercenter, lying on the floor. The automatic doors opened, and a group of bewildered shoppers rushed in, their faces a mix of concern and confusion. Unable to put into words what I had experienced, I kept the chilling tale to myself. To this day, the memory of that monstrous entity haunts my dreams, a constant reminder of the night I survived in the shadows of the void. I can't help but wonder if the pocket dimension still lurks within that abandoned Walmart, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting souls once more. I may have escaped the nightmare, but the scars it left on my mind and soul will never fade. I have come to realize that there are forces in this world beyond our comprehension, lurking in the shadows, waiting for a moment of vulnerability to strike. And should you ever find yourself in an eerily empty Walmart after dark, beware the shadows of the void. They may be watching, waiting for their next victim.